Welcome students. So today we move on to emergency provisions. So what are the emergency that a country will face and who has the responsibility or who has the control during an emergency is what we are going to learn. The central government has been vested with extraordinary powers to deal with conditions of emergency. So during an emergency, who's got extraordinary powers? The central government. Three types of emergencies are envisaged in the constitution. So here how many types of emergencies the central government can put forward? It is about 3 and it has been predicted. So 3 types of emergencies are envisaged, means predicted in the Indian constitution. First one is national emergency, which comes under article 352. The president under article 352 can declare emergency if he is satisfied that India's security is threatened due to war. So when can the president of India declare an emergency? So we are going to learn those options. First is when India is threatened for war. So if there is another country coming to fight for a war, then the president can call for an emergency. Second condition is external aggression. Aggression is something that you oppose strongly is called as aggression. Or third one is armed rebellion. Armed is you have pistons, you have your guns, you have missiles and all those stuff. Rebellion is opposing, fighting. So that's the third one. Or if there is an imminent danger, that means imminent danger means if there is a coming up danger in the country, then the president can call for emergency. Or if there is a threat. Threat is it's like telling that there is going to be a war in future, that's called as a threat. So how many types we have seen here is, one is threat due to war, next one is external aggression, or it can be armed rebellion, or it can be imminent danger, that's coming up danger, or it can be a threat. When a national emergency is declared on the grounds of war or external aggression, it is known as external emergency. So when do we call it an external emergency? When it is based on threat of war, or if there is an external aggression coming up, that means it is called as external emergency. On the other hand, whereas on the other part, when it is declared on the ground of armed rebellion, so if the emergency is because of armed rebellion, that's what armed means, you say guns, missiles and all those things are called as armed. So if an emergency comes because of armed rebellion, it is called as internal emergency. This type of emergency, that is internal emergency, has been declared 3 times so far in India. One in 1962, one in 1971 and the other in 1975. The next one is state emergency, which is in article 356. States. So we have different states in India. So when can the states be called for an emergency? Under article 356, the president can declare an emergency. So here also, who can declare an emergency? The president can declare an emergency where? In the state. If there is a condition, if the governor, so the governor is responsible, if the governor reports means if he says that a situation has arisen under which the government of a state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the constitution. So the governor, he says that the government of that state is not able to function because of the provisions given in the constitution. So some provisions, some ideas that are given in the constitution are not being put into force. When the state is facing problems, the government, the governor, if he reports it, then the president can call for an emergency. The continuance of such an emergency, so how long this can go on? Beyond 1 year is possible. So this emergency beyond 1 year is possible only if emergency under article 352. So that should be that will prolong if it comes under Article 352, or in operation, or the election commission certifies that there are difficulties in holding assembly elections. The other possibility is, if the election commission says that there is a problem in conducting assembly election, then they can call for this emergency. Maximum duration, maximum time of the emergency can be 3 years. So, this can be held for how many years? 3 years they can hold up this emergency. In this kind of emergency, the states lose much of their autonomy. Autonomy is single control. So, the state has its own control, but when there is an emergency called for, the state will have no control over it. Where it will not have any control is in legislative. Legislative means law, and execution also they will not have any control. After such an announcement, state legislature, that means state laws, is suspended. So, it is stopped, and the state is governed by the governor. So, what will happen now? The state will not be ruled by the chief minister, the person, single person, but now it will be governed by the governor on behalf of the president. Okay. For the first time, the president's rule was imposed in Punjab in 1951. So, this type of emergency took place in Punjab in the year 1951. Financial emergency. Finance means money related emergency, which comes under Article 360. Article 360 authorizes means it gives permission to the president to declare financial emergency. So, now you can see in all the three, who's got the power? The president has the power. If he is satisfied that the financial stability or credit of India or of any of its parts is in danger. So, when can the president call for financial emergency? When there is financial stability, when the money is not stable enough, or when any part of the country is in danger, part of the state or country or any region is in danger, or credit is the money that you give, okay, is in problem, then the president can call for an emergency. In this type of emergency, salaries and allowances are special money that you give, okay, during like for a festival time, and all those are called as allowances. Some people get for transport also. So, salaries and allowances of any class of person serving the state or the union. So, during this time of emergency, what will happen is, people who work in the state government or people who work in the central government, they will have salaries, their allowances will be called off, including judges of the Supreme Court and High Court can be reduced. So, their salaries, their allowances could be reduced by an order of the president. So, this can be done only by the order of the president. This type of emergency has not been declared in India so far, but we have not faced this type of emergency so far. Amendment of the constitution. As I have already told you, amendment means change. Changing something is called as amendment. The term amendment denotes means it tells us change, improvement and modification. So, generally we say it as change, but here we read that it is not only change. When you change, you try to modify it. While you modify it, you try to improve it. Usually this term is associated with one or more changes made in the constitution of a country. So, when you make one or two changes in the constitution, then we call this as amendment. Article 368 of the constitution in part 20 deals with the powers of parliament. So, here which article is in charge of this? 368, and it is in which part of our constitution? Part 20. And it gives the powers to the parliament. So, who has got the power? The power goes to the parliament to amend. Amend means, just now we studied, to change the constitution laws. Constitution already we have learnt it. Constitution is nothing but the rule, the laws and its procedures. procedure of amendment. So whenever we want to change it, there should be a procedure, right? So that's what we are going to learn. An amendment of this constitution may be initiated only by the introduction of a bill. So first one is, if the constitution wants to bring, if you need to bring a change in the constitution in an article, first thing is it should be introduced as a bill to the parliament. For the purpose, so first you have to introduce a bill for the purpose in either houses of parliament. So parliament has got two houses, one is the Lok Sabha, the other one is the Rajya Sabha, and it has to be introduced there. So if I need to bring a change, first I have to give that in the houses of the parliament, in the Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha. And when the bill is passed in each house, so it should be accepted in both the houses by a majority of the total membership of that house. So majority of the people in the Lok Sabha and majority of the people in the Rajya Sabha should have accepted it, and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of that house present and voting. So how many members should have accepted it is more than, not less than 2/3. So it should be more than 2/3 of the members. It shall be presented to the president. So first it should be presented, that is the change you want to bring should be presented to the two houses of the parliament. After it has won that majority in both the houses of the parliament, you can take it to the president, who shall give his assent. Assent means his permission to the bill, and thereupon the constitution shall stand amended, and after that only the constitution, that is the law, the rule, will stand changed in accordance with the terms of the bill. So on what basis this is being changed? In accordance with the bill. The constitution amendment can be brought about only by the parliament. So the president cannot make any change in the constitution. He has to bring it to the parliament. So both the houses of the parliament must give permission. Then only it is brought to the president. State legislatures cannot initiate for any amendment to the constitution. So the state making people, the state laws, legislatures, they cannot provide any kind of amendment to the constitution. Types of amendments. So types. Article 368 provides for 3 ways of amendment. So to change, we have 3 ways. That is, first one, by a special majority of parliament, and also through the ratification of half of the states by a simple majority. That's the first part. So first part is, you need to have a special majority of the parliament. So you have to have majority of the people in the parliament to vote for that bill. And then the ratification means it's like consent, it's like giving permission on half of the states by a simple majority. At least simple majority is at least a small majority should have accepted it. But some other articles provide for the amendment of certain provisions of the constitution by a simple majority of parliament. So the first one is special majority of the parliament and also ratification of half of the state. Second way is a simple majority of the parliament. There is a difference. First one is a special majority. The second one is a simple majority. That is, what is simple majority? That is a majority of the members of each house, which house? Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, present and voting, similar to the ordinary legislative process. So they should have a similarity in the legislative process. Notably, these amendments are not deemed. Deemed means they are not regarded to be amendments of the constitution for the purpose of Article 368. Therefore, the constitution can be amended in 3 ways. So now that paragraph what we have learnt right now is being given in simple sentences, points. First one is amendment. Amendment means change by simple majority of the parliament. Second one is change brought by special majority of the parliament. Third one is amendment by special majority of the parliament and the ratification of half of the state legislatures. So, three, one is simple majority, another one is special majority, the other one is special majority and ratification. Both will come into process. So, with that, then we move on to constitutional reform commissions. So, reform means changes. Commission is groups, okay. The National Commission to revive the working of the constitution. To revive means to bring something new, that's called as revive. So, the National Commission to revive, that means they are trying to make something new in the working of the constitution, was set up by a resolution. Resolution is agreement of the Government of India in 2000, headed by M.N. Venkatachalaya. In April 2007, a 3-member commission is, as I told you, it's like a committee. So, a 3-member committee headed by the former Chief Justice of India, M.M. Munshi, was set up by the then government. At that point of government, these people were set up under the heading of Chief Justice to take a fresh look. So, what is that? They are going to revive, they are going to make it fresh at relative roles and responsibilities of various levels of the government. So, they are going to look forward and set up the various levels at which the government should work, what will be their responsibilities, what role the government has to play, and their interrelationships with the state government. All this was again studied and it was revived. Revived means made something new under a 3-member committee which was headed by former Chief Justice of India. So, that is the reform. Reform means change. So, constitution changes were made. Okay. So, go through the lesson. This is the last part of your civics lesson of unit 1. So, go through it.